Okay, this is it's called harvesting system. Just the shortened version. False light masquerading as true light, using grimoires, Bibles to cause pressuring, control, entropy, deprivation, coerced sacrifice, and suffering to feed their nature's gods in return for favor and manifestation enhancements. So the more they convince individuals to serve, worship, and believe their gods and religious practices and doctrines, the more real it becomes. They need people to believe lies for them to be true. They need people to believe to manifest certain results or ethics, which give their spells manifestation strength. They play on your psychologically. They play on you psychologically to cause your own entropy as well as um, causing guilt if you give them power over you. Don't give them the power. Don't incorporate their religions or beliefs or facades into your life. It will drain you and your resources. Basically, it's karmic day transfers. There that is why they like to go after suffering individuals, the poor and famine. They are vulnerable and in need or seek for saviors and salvation. They fast, they feast off the weak and vulnerable, and the weak and vulnerable who lead who are led who lead the operation set portions for them. So basically, they feast off the weak and vulnerable, and they reward the ones who lead the operations with a portion of their energy, and it trickles down from there. Um, that is why they prosper, why the many do not. Some some of the followers do as well in their congregations, but they are also prospering because they bring more to follow them, and they love the world too, and the world gods too. Gods of the flesh and gods of the spirit. Basically, they love sin and they love the matrix gods, so they prosper. They living in a sinful salvation life, so they appease these harvesting gods, and they bring or encourage others into their churches, faiths, cults to feed into the system. They deliberately gaslight and misdirect the weight of certain activities, sins, quote unquote, that's what they call them, as sinful, to steer the public further from permanent salvation. Um, Hierarchies, economic groups, what you name them, they use similar tactics as well. They also use moral conflicts, social constructs, moral constructs to guide you towards the soul trapping agenda so they can keep feeding off you, the loose energies, as well as use you for labor. And that's why it's I say go instinctive permanent salvation, and I'm against procreation and creation because it causes disruption and force you into their worlds of imbalance. And although we do efforts to try to balance it out for all to have a flourishing, decent life in the simulation, and to enjoy the stimuli of life, which is life, somehow they regain the power and it becomes imbalance again. So you're constantly trying to create a world of balance, and something happens where it's imbalance again. So you're dealing with these cycles of balance and imbalance in this duality realm. So that's why I say you need to protest with your bodies and not procreate. Uh, but while doing so, you still fight to make this world a profitable world for everyone in the process. Don't continue to birth. Just stop birthing and just fight to regain control. Um, be the righteous, true light beings, and fight to regain control, to to make the world better. So as you decline into permanent salvation anyway. You decline into eternal bliss and peace. Alright, I want to give more details, but my other video explain in depth.